Welcome to r/AskReddit, where people are answering the question, what is your most disturbing secret?
My husband passed away a few years ago.
I tell everyone how much I loved him, and only talk about the good times we had and how great he was. In honesty, I hated him for every bit of the 33 years we were together. He was so mean to me, both physically and mentally, every single day. He hid it well, and in front of anyone he was okay to me, but when we were alone he was terrible. I hated him so much. I live alone now, and am just finding myself. I moved to a different state and have made new friends, and everyone seems to really like me, and I even like myself now too. It's been really hard to tell myself that I am okay. I have never said any of this out loud.
I feel bad that I am happy he is gone.
My best friend is actually his uncle's kid. Apparently he confessed to it on his deathbed. The mom won't admit anything, and he can't talk to anyone else in the fam about it. So if I get this correctly, the mom had been sleeping with her husband's brother and now lies that the kid is the husband's. Interesting.
I am an alcoholic.
No one is aware of how bad it's gotten, but I'm drinking to almost black out daily and going to work ill every single day. I still do my job fine, but the second I'm off, it's all I want to do, and I can't stop myself anymore. It has been like this for almost 2 years now. What I'm doing to myself while acting completely fine to everyone disturbs me, but I'm really struggling to get myself help.
A few years ago, I used to work at Home Depot at the returns desk. It was mostly very elderly people who worked alongside me in our store. I was the youngest in the team. We had a lady, Margaret, who had issues with bowel control due to her medications. She used to fart without even realizing she's farting. Usually loud but harmless ones, even when she was having a normal conversation.
So we got so used to her doing that, even though it was awkward in the beginning. One day we were having a team huddle and it started to smell like fresh manure. Such a strong stench. And then one more with different flavor this time. The manager dismissed the team huddle, and one of the team members murmured, "My God, Margaret, what was that?"
It was me. I did that, Margaret.
I'm sorry. Definitely not the darkest story in the thread. But man, he better hope this one stays a secret. I regularly daydream about murdering one specific person. I go to therapy twice a month and have been doing that for 5 years. And even my therapist has no idea I have these thoughts.
They're just thoughts I don't plan to act on.
I was sexually abused by my aunt at the age of 7 to 12. She recently got in a car accident, and now she's paralyzed from the neck down.
It sort of brings me joy that she can't harm other kids. This one is just horrible. Best of luck to OP.
It wasn't the dog that shit behind the couch. I wonder who it might be then. Before my dad died, he told me about my mother's affairs.
One with his childhood best friend. I'll never tell anyone else. My friend's younger brother took a dump in the litter box as a teen to see what it was like. Their mom and registered nurse saw it and declared there is a human shit in the litter box.
Whenever anyone brings up anything litter box related, I think of this. I mean, what could go through a person's mind to try and take a dump into a litter box of all places? I get you want to see what it feels like, but this is a bit extreme.
I have a serious skin picking problem. I can just sit for hours straight in front of a mirror and inspect every pore on my face, chest, and hands. It's gotten so bad that I have little scars all over my face, but I literally can't stop doing it.
My wife revealed to me in the last 6 months that she really hasn't felt comfortable with and attracted to me since shortly after she moved in with me. That was 3 years before we were married. We have been married 19 years. You can imagine how entangled our lives are. Being good roommates, co-parents to teens and vacation companions doesn't make mentally healthy options. Divorce look much better. These revelations have led to the realization of no connection and therefore no interest in sex by both of us at this point. Unfortunately, marriage has been financially harmful. Stay-at-home mom with a history of a spending problem moderately improved this last year, and divorce would be final devastating at this point. Duck my life.
This one really feels bad because it really must feel like you have wasted the last 20 years of your life. Hopefully he finds a way out of this hole.
Okay, this will probably cause me some shame, but it'll get buried, so I don't know. So my wife makes great biscuits and gravy, like really good. I never liked biscuits and gravy before we got married. Maybe I never had a version that was good enough. Maybe my taste changed. All of my kids love my wife's biscuits and gravy too. She's a pretty damn good cook, so there's that. Over the years, I've had other versions of biscuits and gravy with varying affection for the taste. Some good, some planned to just flat out mid. So, again, my wife's gravy with biscuits comes out on top. Well, one day a friend of mine and his wife came over so we could all hang out. He offered to cook dinner for us.
He said that he was going to make biscuits and gravy.
Now, like I mentioned before, I never liked it before I got married and had I tried hers. So I was a bit nervous. As mentioned previously, my wife's biscuits and gravy always came out on top. When your friend comes over and cooks for you, how do you gently tell them that it's not good? Do you give them the fake sounding, "My stomach has been messed up all day," or the tried and true "I already ate" line? "I'll eat it later." The latter buys you enough time to let them leave before you throw the shit out. Anyway, my buddy's cooking, and I'm already mentally preparing my speech, going over and over in my head, so it doesn't sound forced or sincere enough. But hey, at the very least, I can always just choke it down, right?
Well, he finished up and had us try it.
I'll be damned if it wasn't the best biscuits and gravy I've ever had in my life. Like, damn, it was tasty.
I had 2 plates worth. I still think of it from time to time, and while my wife's biscuits and gravy is still good, it pales in comparison to my friend's version. Every time she cooks it, I remember my friend's version, and I don't say anything. Nothing at all. I'm not trying to get my ass kicked, so I hide my head in shame.
When I was a little kid, either 5 or 6 years old, I had gotten in trouble for throwing a TV remote at my sister. My dad is a very large and intimidating man. He stood in the doorway of my room, yelling at me. I was hysterical. He was getting angrier and angrier. He started yelling at me to take my clothes off. I took my shirt off. He told me to take my pants off too, and my underwear. I'm in the corner of my room, crying, hysterical, afraid, and naked, staring up at this giant, angry, red-faced man. I stood there like that for a moment, when suddenly his anger instantly left his face, making way for shame. He dropped to one knee in the doorway and put his head in his hands and cried to himself, saying, "What am I doing? I'm a bad father." I walked over to him, still naked and crying, said, "You're not a bad dad." I hugged him. He left. I don't know if he thinks I forgot about that day or what, but I remember it vividly. This was over 30 years ago. We've never talked about it. I really hope that the father learned from that and has been a better father since. I never had a girlfriend, but told everyone I did have one and that she broke up with me. I was so good at lying about it that I myself believed my lie, and somehow I felt really sad and depressed. Then I even remembered memories I never had, and afterwards I was like, WTF am I doing? Sometimes I eat popcorn with a spoon. I don't know why on earth anyone would do that. I could kind of understand it with chopsticks, but a spoon, no way.
I had a sexual relationship with someone for months, not knowing he has a wife and a newborn baby. We're in our early 20s. I asked him if he has a girlfriend, and he said no, which was technically true because he actually has a wife.
My family thinks I finished the computer science degree, but I dropped out. However, I've been working in the sector for about 25 years in a row without any trouble, and people, employers, and colleagues seem to think that I'm quite competent. It's not disturbing per se, but for my parents it was a big deal that I finished my studies. My dad passed away 3 years ago without knowing. My mom is 83 and she is still proud of me, and I hope things stay the same till she dies. About 5 years ago, one of my first cousins started messaging me on Facebook, and I realized right away that he was being extremely flirtatious. I obviously dodged it, but tried to do it in a sensitive way, and he wound up confessing to me that his older brother had SA'd him for years when they were kids. This man has a wife and children, and lives a life that looks wonderful on the outside. And as far as I know, nobody else in the family has any idea what happened. His older brother also has a wife and children, and lives a life that looks wonderful on the outside. I don't know if there is anything I could do other than encourage my cousin to seek help. and I worry that my older cousin just molested his brother for years and will get away with it. This one is so horrible, and I definitely hope that the brother gets caught.
Maybe someone from Reddit could find the user's details and then the cousin's brother. Then there might be a chance that he could be brought to justice.
During my worst periods of dealing with bulimia, if I had no food on hand to binge and purge, I would steal lunches from people at work or pick things out of the trash. I was never caught. The shame, guilt, and disgust with myself was always there, but it took intensive counseling, medication, and working with a specialist on other issues to help me to stop. As a teen, I caught my parents' house on fire, playing with pyrotechnics in the garage, and then staged it to look like an electrical fire so I wouldn't get in trouble. I was regarded as the hero who put the fire out before it consumed the house. I was home alone at the time, but really I was the cause.
They had all of the electrical redone in the house as a precaution against another fire. I never came clean.
My ex-husband told me one time that he didn't think it was wrong for a father to be sexually intimate with his daughter as long as she was old enough. No one will ever know why we truly divorced, because I don't think anyone would believe me. He started talking about children. I'd never let my daughter be his. Not a single person I've met in the last 10 years knows anything true about me. Not my name, not my profession, not my family life, not where I'm from, etc. I've created an entirely fake person, and that's who I am to everyone that I meet now, even my girlfriend. I was abused mentally, physically, and sexually from the age of around 7 to 15 years old by one person, who I thought was my best friend during the time. I'm 23 now, and just finally coming around to the realization of everything that happened, and why I have so many mental health and trust issues now, and I am talking about it in therapy finally.
As far as I know, my abuser is living a comfortable, happy life, and the only person that knows about this is me and my therapist.
I used to go to gay bathhouses to suck dongs and jacks clubs to jack off old men. I guess whatever rings your bell.
That was r/AskReddit. A lot of sad and interesting stories. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new to the channel.